One of my all-time favourite places in the world. When it comes to timeless design, Venice is in a league of its own. On the surface, Venice may look like a museum, but it's actually home to over 60,000 people. And I'm here to reveal the secrets of the classic and unique Venetian style. On the downside, you have to be loaded to afford to buy here. This two-bedroom apartment on the edge of the city will cost you just over £1 million.
What is so wonderfully Venetian about these rooms is the height and scale. You can see the floor to ceiling here, it must be about 5 metres high. And if you look at the floor, what's very typical about the floor is that it's made of terrazzo. And the reason for this is when you've got a lot of water and timber buildings, you've got a lot of movement. If you had marble, it would simply crack. And in the dining room here, you can see some typical details. The chandelier, for example. You've got these wonderful antique mirrors. It's really a mirror for style and for status. But it's very elegant and it's just topped off with those little florets, which is very Venetian.
At the top end of the scale, a palazzo will set you back at least £24 million. This one on the Grand Canal is one of the best examples of Venetian design in this city.
It's highly decorative on the outside. And Venice is such a theatrical city, everything is done in kind of big grand gestures, just like this.
Having arrived by boat, guests are taken up to the Piano Nobile or ground floor to be greeted by more opulence.
Gosh, this is a magnificent room. It's so grand in scale, and you can imagine all of the parties that they'd have here. But the star attraction has got to be that magnificent chandelier. It's so flamboyant. It really says, I am king of all lights, you know, I am the most dramatic light in Venice. And this is what the actual people who live in palazzos are showing off. This is just a little touch of my wealth. The hallway is a very important space. It's a room in its own. Not like in Britain, where the hall is really where you come in and hang up your coat and you can just squeeze by the stairs. They're much smaller spaces and never used for entertaining. They use their hallway as a grand gesture. It's the meet and greet. It's showing your guests into your home. It's a magnificent kind of first impression of what must lead on to something better.
Off the main hall at the front of the palazzo are the grand family rooms, designed to be comfortable and no less impressive.
What this room is all about really is, it's about fabrics, it's about texture, it's full of opulence, it's theatrical. And the Venetians were the biggest traders in silks and in velvets. And you can see here some fine examples of the silk damask pattern. And what I like about this is that they fit in very well with the large print fabrics on the walls because it's such a large room. It's kind of very fanciful, very playful and very Venetian.
This chintzy look might not be to everybody's taste, but it is typical of Venice. The palazzo is owned by Filippo Gaggia and has been in his family for generations.
What we try to do is to give the Venetian style a little bit more comfort because the houses in Venice were not very comfortable. Were very nice to see, but not comfortable. Here, what we made is a house that makes you feel at home.
Very much.
Comfortable, but always gives you that sense of Venice and that sense of Venice decoration.
Not surprisingly, this being Italy, there's one room above all others that the Venetians take very seriously.
This is the master bedroom. It's very relaxing, very cool and really sexy. I think this colour scheme here that we're looking at is very typical because it's gold and gilt with a background of cream and white, and that's just so Venetian. And here you have a splash of colour, which is the velvet, which the Venetians are so famous for, against the cream and white. Is so sophisticated, and I think it's just so romantic.
OK, so you might not live in a palazzo, but later I'll be pointing out a few key affordable items which can help you to get the Venetian look back home in the UK.